West basketball finds us in Colorado Springs, Colorado at the Air Force Academy as the Falcons host Utah State for the second time in 3 days. And we welcome you inside Clune Arena here on the grounds of the United States Air Force Academy. Jenny Kavner, happy to be with you, and Happy New Year to Joaquin Jones, the former college coach. Always great to be live and in person for a basketball game, especially in these times. You look at these two programs now, 3 games into conference play, and really going in opposite directions right now. It's Utah State picking up right where they left off, winning the Mountain West Conference tournament.
Yeah, Craig Smith, he couldn't be happier with his ball club right now. They're coming into the game with a 5-game winning streak. They're doing a great job on the defensive end, and more importantly, they're doing a great job on the offensive end, sharing the ball and playing together. And then Coach Joe Scott's team, they're starting off a little bit slower. They need more consistency, according to Coach Scott.
Yeah, Coach Scott's second stint here at the Air Force, his first year back in action. Well, of course, these two teams met just a couple days ago on New Year's Eve. And, well, from the start, it was all Utah State doing what they like to do. Get the ball in to Namish. He has 2, and then it was perimeter play. Justin Bean with 15 points to lead all Aggies, 5 in double figures, including Miller, 4 of 9 from three-point range, 12 threes in all, and it was 26 turnovers, a season high for the Falcons. That led to 45 Aggie points and a 35-point win.
Yeah, 26 turnovers. You're not giving yourself a chance to win a ball game by turning over that many times, especially against a club like Utah State. So 45 points off turnovers, that's kind of unheard of. Coach Scott said that's the most turnovers that he's had in his 17 years as a head coach.
Well, I mentioned Justin Bean for Utah State. That is their renaissance man. He can do it all. And you're talking about a guy that's now almost averaging a double-double in conference play.
Yeah, he averaged a double-double last year, and he's averaging 4 offensive rebounds a game. He's doing a great job so far this year.
And on the other side for the Falcons, it was Nick Jackson that led them on Thursday, 11 points. They're averaging just 56.6 points a game. They need all the scoring they can get. Well, we have tip coming up next from Colorado Springs, Colorado. It's Mountain West basketball on Stadium as Utah State and Air Force hook up next. Back at the United States Air Force Academy and Clune Arena as the Air Force Falcons host the Utah Aggies, their second of 2 matchups. It'll be interesting to see the freshman guards go head-to-head again. We're talking about Glenn McClintock for Air Force, Raleigh Wooster, who was the only Aggie to not score in double figures on Thursday. But it's the big guys that would be your players to watch.
Definitely. Kada, he does so much for this team and for their success. He does a great job on the defensive end, which is highly advertised, but at the same time, he leads this team in assists. When have you seen a 7-footer lead a team in assists? And then on the other end, Keaton Van Solen, he's a senior, he's experienced, he's going to have to give them something for them to have a chance to win this game today.
He can be quick in the post and cause havoc, and that's what they're looking for against Namish Kada and the Aggies today. We mentioned that Air Force was able to bounce back in Game 2 of their series at Nevada. They're going to try and make those adjustments today against the Aggies and see if they can't make this a closer game. A 35-point victory for Utah State on Thursday. Coach Joe Scott said they got to be more physical, so we'll see out of the gate if they do that. It's the Aggies winning the tip here at Clune Arena, and we are underway. A perfect Mountain West Conference record for Utah State. They're 3-0 coming in, just 1-2 for Air Force. And right away, Brock Miller fires a 3. He had 4 of them on Thursday.
The start to this game is going to be so important for Air Force to see what type of tone they set after losing the game. So having such a hard loss on Thursday, it's going to be very interesting to see how they start this game.
That ball tipped there, and it'll land in Kada's hands. Marco Anthony will pass off to Kada. And over in the corner, the freshman Rooster keeping it in.
The main thing for Air Force is not turning the ball over today. I'm sure that Coach Scott has driven that point home to his team, but they have to take care of the basketball.
They have to, and they got to guard that guy. Brock Miller for 3. We've seen that a time or two this year. He's really come on in conference play. He's averaging 13 points compared to his 8 average for the entire season.
And he's doing a great job shooting the basketball, which is his role on this team.
Jackson will go at Keita, and a nice hook, can't get it to go in off the glass.
What's also going to be very important for Air Force is getting back in transition and building their zone.
Wooster for 3. So the Aggies going right back to the same playbook they had on Thursday, where they had 12 of them.
And what that does is once they start hitting three-point shots, it really opens up the middle for guys like Keita. And so right now, they're looking to attack from the perimeter.
6-0. Aggies lead the Falcons here. There's 2 minutes into the contest. And that pass knocked away by the 7-footer. Well, we mentioned Joe Scott back at the Air Force Academy. This will be his second stint here. His 17th season overall as a head coach. He has 238 wins. Of course, a lot of success in his first time here. White King, as they won the Mountain West Conference Championship and got an NCAA bid.
Well, Coach Scott, he knows the recipe for success here at Air Force. And so it's going to take some time, though. It doesn't happen overnight. You know, and for him, as long as his players are competing and playing hard, he knows that he's going to get to where he wants to be.
What a great fight on the boards for Nick Jackson down there against Keita. That'll give Air Force another chance. He leaves that one short. Anthony right underneath to Keita, but a whistle. So Craig Smith in his 3rd season at the helm for the Aggies, and a lot of success. His 9th season overall as a head college basketball coach. He's 60-18, and of course, back-to-back Mountain West titles. They had quite the year.
Yeah, Coach Smith is doing an unbelievable job. Everyone, he's one of those coaches that I don't think he gets enough credit for the job that he's done so far here at Utah State.
How about the freshman? Quickly with 6 after 2 threes. He only had 4 points the other night here at Air Force. He's averaging 11 on the season. He's been quite a surprise for them.
And Coach Smith, he speaks really highly of Riley Wooster. Him being a freshman, he speaks on how competitive he is, and that stats don't matter to him. All he wants to do is win.
So Brock Miller picking up a foul, his first.
Right there, you see Anthony find the open man. Air Force is going to have to do a better job closing out the shooters and running them off the line, make them attack the rim as opposed to giving them wide open looks from 3.
So early substitution here for Joe Scott as Amika Akaya enters the game, the lone senior for the Falcons.
Air Force just trying to find some rhythm right now, and you're not going to find your rhythm turning the ball over like that. But they're really looking to find some sort of rhythm and gain some confidence to give themselves a chance to compete in this game.
Cato working inside, his first bucket of the game.
You're almost better off fronting him in the post and letting him get that deep in the paint. He's too long, he's too athletic, he's too good. He's either going to score or you're going to foul him in a play like that. So
Air Force still looking for their first bucket, and the freshman McClintock will try and hand it off. Another turnover.
Yeah, just the energy that Utah State is bringing on the defensive end right now is they're just doing a great job with their energy, their communication.
Cato sees an opening and takes it. He'll get fouled by Van Stollen, and that'll send him to the line. So when you look at Nimish Keita, you have to look at last season. Of course, he was coming off being the freshman of the year in the Mountain West Conference. A ridiculous amount of blocks. He had 84 as a freshman. He was the defensive player of the year. And then a bummer injury for him over the summer where he hurt his knee. He didn't play for the first 9 games of the season. Kind of a slower start when he got back into conference play. But all of a sudden, he exploded come February and tournament time when this team needed him most.
He played well, and he helped them punch that ticket to the NCAA tournament, which we'll talk about later. And he did his job. You know, he came back from the injury, and it's almost like he didn't miss a step.
He makes the second of 2. So 4 minutes into this game, it is 12-0.
Not the start that I think Coach Scott wanted from his ball club.
This will be a timeout. They'd love a bucket before then, but that's a block at the boards, and on the other end, there's a whistle. They're going to call it carry. So that'll lead us to a timeout. 15:44 to go in the first, and Utah State up big, 12-0.
Season title, and the look on Joe Scott's face to celebrate the 2003-2004 Mountain West Conference regular season title. Now Mountain West Conference regular season champion t-shirts and Air Force on the back of them.
11 seed.
What a great memory for Joe Scott, and of course for all Air Force Falcons out there. That was their first NCAA appearance since 1964. They punched their ticket in the 03-04 season. He would go on to coach, of course, at Princeton, at DU, and then he's been an assistant the last 4 years, including his last stop at Georgia. But what the right time, the right place for him. Dave Pilipovich was fired after the Falcons just went 5-13 in conference play last year, 12-20 overall. So Joe knows what he has to work with. They graduated 4 seniors, and there's a big block by Keita. That's his 24th block of the season. A miss on the other end, and they're going to fight for it. But Wyking, for Joe Scott, it's a familiarity. He knows how to recruit at the academy, and he knows the work that he has cut out for him.
Yeah, it's just going to take some time. You know, he has to get the type of players that he wants, that he knows can be successful in his system. And that's going to be the most important thing, because at the end of the day, it's about players. It's about the players that fit what you want to do, that fit your vision. And so it's just going to take him some time to get those guys into his program.
Easter travels, so it'll be Air Force ball. They've not had a good start to this game, but you got to check out Keita. This is what he does best. We know he's a big man, and he'll get up there. He loves to play defense, and he loves to do that.
One of the best in the country. One of the best in the country at that. And it is such a luxury as a coach to have a guy like that in the back of your defense that's going to make sure that he makes up for all of your mistakes in the front court.
A 3 attempt from Chris Joyce, and that is no good. So 0 for 7 are the Falcons to start the day today. Make it 0 of 8. Good ball movement by the Aggies. They work it into Anthony. What a pass to Keita for the dunk finish.
And that's what I love about this basketball team, is their unselfishness. They're always looking for the open man and making the right basketball play. And as a coach, you can't ask for much more. These guys, they don't care about stats. They just want to win. They just want to share the ball, make the right plays, and win.
Well, it's a very balanced attack for Utah State. There's no doubt about that. They graduated Sam Merrill, was one of the best players, not only in the conference, but the country, and he's now in the NBA.
And Sam Merrill was a big part of this program. To me, it doesn't look like they've missed much. With Sam gone, I think Brock Miller has had more of an impact with this basketball team.
Sean Bairstow in the game took a 3 and a miss. You coached his brother Cameron.
I did. I coached Cameron Bairstow when I was at New Mexico in my Mountain West days, and he was a tough kid.
Of course, Australia-born. His sister Stephanie went to Utah State, so following in her steps. And there's the first bucket of the day for Air Force at the 13-17 mark. It'll come for Amika Akaya.
They needed that. They needed to stop the bleeding a little bit. And if they can get some stops, they can make this interesting. But they got to get some stops.
Booster to the corner. Beans looking around. Shot clock down to single digits, but Anthony already up in the air and in.
I really like Marco Anthony. He's a transfer from Virginia. He comes into their program, you know, playing at the absolute highest level, winning a national championship in 2019. And he really brings some experience, and he plays under control, and he has a really, really nice game. Coach Smith speaks very highly of him.
A.J. Walker, deep three and good. So maybe finding a rhythm now for the Falcons with back-to-back threes.
And A.J. Walker had 27 points in their win against Nevada. And he has the ability to create his own shot and to do some great things for them. He has to look to be more aggressive. He's the only returning starter. He has to look to be more aggressive.
A travel from Worcester, so it'll be Falcons ball again, and a mass of substitutions. We see Brock Miller coming back into the game. Stephen Ashworth, the freshman guard, is back in the game, or is in the game, I should say, for the first time. And Trevin Dorius, the 7-footer from Heber City, Utah. They're the tallest team in the nation, by the way. They averaged 79.31 inches of height. How about that? 3 7-footers.
So we're watching one of the tallest teams in the country play against one of the shorter teams
That's right.
in the country, with Nick Jackson being the tallest player on Air Force's roster at 6'8".
Chris Joyce pulls up. No good. And Stephen Ashworth quick in transition. Worcester for 3. In and out, and an offensive rebound for the Aggies, make it 2.
And that's where height comes into play. You talk about Utah State being one of the tallest teams in the country, and it's just inevitable that they're going to have a hard time keeping them off the offensive glass.
Alfonso Anderson will have an and one opportunity. That's the second on Van Solen. So turnovers once again hurting the Aggies as Utah State leads the Falcons 18-6. Utah State leads Air Force. Of course, Cada 5 points, 4 rebounds, but it's the blocks that we love to take a look at. He has 3 in this game. He's climbing the charts as the all-time blocks leader. He will end up on top for Utah State eventually. 147 is what he's at now. Nate Wickizer has 148. His son happens to be a teammate of Cada, and that's Matthew Wickizer. He played a minute on Thursday. We might see him later in the game today. So that'll be interesting to see if he congratulates his teammate eventually for passing his dad in the record books.
If he congratulates him, it'll be interesting to see if he's rooting for him to break his dad's record.
All records are made to be broken, right?
They are.
So the in-one opportunity for Anderson coming at the line. And can't capitalize.
Well, let's see what Air Force does out of this timeout. They're going to need to get a bucket right now. The pivotal part of the first half right now for them. They're going to have to gain some kind of momentum.
It feels like, King, that they're using the shot clock a little more than they did in that first game on Thursday, trying to get that exact shot they want. And A.J. Walker takes the 3. Maybe that's how they drew it up.
Yeah, you called it. I mean, they have to shrink the game to be in it. Utah State's so talented, and they're so efficient in everything that they do that they have to shrink the game and try to limit possession.
Ashworth drives and out to the corner. Miller likes it and doesn't get the make. They can't get the rebound either. So this will be Air Force ball.
Yeah.
Air Force looking to build a run here. They need to do something against Utah State, up 18-9. Well, we welcome you into Stadium if you're watching Western Kentucky and Charlotte. Again, it's Utah State and Air Force, the second of 2. Utah State beat them up pretty good on Thursday, and right now it's 18-11 with that Air Force bucket.
And that's a great isolation play for Nick Jackson at the free throw line to take Dorius off the bounce. Maybe they need to go back to that. Now you see him catch at the high post. And usually he looks to be a facilitator, but right here he was aggressive and looked to attack the rim. He knew he could get to the rim, being the quicker player over Dorius to get that layup. That's a great play. Let's look and see if they go back to that.
So a turnover from Utah State, and now Air Force going to try and give them some of their medicine and get some points off it. They almost turn the ball over there, but keep it.
Well, it feels like Air Force has a little bit more life right now. The lead has shrunk to 7 points, and this is good for them.
Yeah, an 11-4 run for the Falcons. And Chris Joyce will have free throws coming.
And it all started with the three from Walker. He's going to have to continue to be aggressive in the win. Like I said before, in the win against Nevada, he had 27 points. So he's capable of scoring lots of points. He's capable of putting points on the board. It's just about him being aggressive and looking to do so.
Yeah, and they're going to need him as a senior co-captain. A.J. Walker, the only returning starter, although Joyce did start in 13 of 29 games last year. But as Coach Scott was saying, even though they have some age on them, it's really inexperience because the minutes aren't there that he needs collectively from the group. So they hope to gain that this year game by game.
Yeah, I mean, not having game experience is tough. Even if you've been in the program for a while, game experience, you can't replace that.
How about a block from Van Stolen? So our players to watch doing damage with the blocks today.
Yeah, Van Stolen, that's a great block, and it's something that they desperately need right now.
Joyce's three short. And the Aggies are going to try and stop the Falcons' run. Inside to Anderson. And he puts the moves on for the bucket and one.
Alfonso Anderson, that's a great move. It's almost like an isolation in the post, catching it right there at the block. He was aggressive, fought through contact, and was able to get the and one. That's a great play right there for him.
So Chris Joyce with the foul. He picks up his first.
Anderson from Garfield High School in Seattle won a state title under a good friend of mine, Ed Haskins. I've watched this kid play since he was a sophomore in high school.
That's just fun walking in the gym with a former college coach. You start to look at all these kids that you've watched a ton of film on from their high school days in recruiting.
And the thing about Alfonso that I'm very proud of is that he started off as a junior college player, and then he was able to win academic All-Mountain West last year. So as a coach, that's what you want to see. You want to see the guys that are taking care of business on the court as well as off the court. So very proud to see that for him.
Went to North Idaho College, and then, of course, transferring to Utah State. Jackson picks up his second.
Coach Scott has to be happy with the fight that his team is showing right now, especially with the start that they had. For them to be able to climb back into it right now is showing a lot of grit, and for him, that's all you can ask for, is that they fight and compete. Coach Scott's a fiery coach, and at the end of the day, he just wants to see his team compete.
And that's going to be a jump ball. So it'll be Air Force's ball. It's almost 8 minutes to go here in the first, and they trail by 8. Here's a good hustle play. Maybe this is what Coach Scott was talking about. We can't make adjustments on a team that's this much bigger than us and perhaps this much better than us on paper, but what we can do is we can be physical and we can stick with it, and that's just one of those 50-50 balls they went for.
That is exactly what he talked about yesterday. He just wanted his team to be more aggressive.
Abe Kinraid in the game for the Falcons. Joyce will have to kick it out. He sees A.J. Walker, and Walker with the floater gets it to go. That's 8 points for Walker, the junior from San Antonio, Texas. He only had 4 against this team on Thursday.
He just has to continue to be aggressive and look for his own. He's a talented young man. He's skilled. He's experienced.
Great play by McClintock there. He gets the ball away from Ashworth and then draws a foul. 21-15, Utah State leading Air Force. Well, live look at the United States Air Force Academy. There's still snow on the ground, but a pretty beautiful day here in Colorado Springs. 21-15, Utah State up over the Falcons. Well, Stadium is the only 24/7 network available on both television and digital devices without a cable subscription. Live and classic games, daily studio shows, original programming. Check your local television listings or go to watchstadium.com. And for Craig Smith, he can't be happy about the turnovers today. We talked about Air Force's turnovers with 26 on Thursday, 6 already for Utah State. They only had 9 in that first game against Air Force.
That's not like Utah State to turn the ball over, but Air Force is making them turn the ball over. They're playing with a lot more fire and a lot more grit, and it's exactly what Coach Scott wanted.
And Marco Anthony gets his first foul.
Well, you think about the game against Nevada. The first game they lose by 17, and they win the second game by 2. And you know, they're looking at this situation as the same. You know, even though they've lost by 35 points, you know, they're saying to themselves, we can still win this second game.
Well, of course, with COVID and to try and get conference play going, the basketball season going, a lot of conferences going to this 2-game matchup where they just stay in one place. Kinraid misses the 3-point attempt. So we'll see how it works out when all is said and done. This is really the second go for each team. They've had a home contest, a road contest. Anthony falls out short. Decatur with the finish.
Yeah, and that's what they can't do. They can't, Air Force cannot give up offensive rebounds, continue to do that. They're playing good defense right now, but they have to put a body on Keita, and right here you see it. You know, and that's just size and athleticism right there. I mean, what can you do about that? You know, a 7-foot, 245-pound athlete. You know, there's not a lot that you can do about that.
How about the fact he got better, right? He stayed in Logan, Utah this summer. Coach Smith said that he was working out a lot. He's a guy that loves defense, prides himself on that, and found a way to even get better. So the turnover, then Wooster gets the ball back, and now it's Air Force's ball. Trading spots, and Chris Joyce trying to capitalize, but a block at the boards. And finally, Air Force finishes. Glenn McClintock. How about that? That was a little back and forth.
Yeah, McClintock stayed with it. You know, sometimes after the block, you know, guys give up and they try to retreat back to defense, but he stayed with it. McClintock's a kid that Coach Scott said he really likes. He plays with pizzazz, is Coach's exact words, and he has a bright future here at Air Force.
Another offensive rebound for the Aggies. That's been their bread and butter all year, and Marco Anthony, he has 4.
Marco Anthony continues to be a great addition to their program. It's interesting to me, Jenny, how when you watch Keita play defense, the guys that he's playing I was gonna say that typically the guys that he's playing defense against, they don't look to score because they don't want their shot blocked, and he knocked down that jumper right there in Keita's face. So
Kenry, I'm 6'7", you're 7 feet. I'm going for it. Good for him. Brock Miller for 3 and in.
Cannot let him continue to get good looks. You got to chase him off the line, make him uncomfortable, make him do what he does not want to do, which is put the basketball on the floor and create off the bounce, because that's not his strong suit. So they have to do a better job of locating shooters, especially Brock Miller.
Yeah, you can see him. He's catch and shoot on the perimeter all day, and just like that, he goes for it again. Chris Joyce will come down with the rebound. And Air Force trails by 9. A.J. Walker pulls up. And not a Falcon around. Contest a rebound. Here's a charge call. So that'll be 2 on Anthony, picking up 2 quick fouls. What do you think, Joaquin?
Yeah, that's a great play right there. I mean, it could have went either way, but, you know, you have to give Air Force player the benefit of the doubt for going ahead and taking it in the chin. You know, I like the toughness on that play, so I would give him that call.
And there's a whistle underneath. Looks as though they're going to call it on Brock Miller. It's his second. 17 fouls for Utah State, and that'll send Joyce to the line. Joyce, an 82% free throw shooter, knocks down the first.
It'll be interesting to see how long Coach Smith keeps Keita on the bench, especially when it feels like Air Force has some momentum right now. So it'll be interesting to see how long he stays on the bench.
A rare miss for Joyce on the second, and an 8-point Aggies lead. Keller playing aggressive defense, but a lot of ball movement for the Aggies. Ashworth over to Miller. Wooster will drive under the basket, and the reverse good. How about that? That's a freshman just taking the bull by the horns.
That did not look like a freshman play. It looked like a veteran play. It's very savvy for him to drive and stop on a dime like that, under control, and finish at the rim like that.
Two freshmen on the floor for the Aggies in Wooster and Ashworth. Underneath to Joyce. He's thinking about taking Miller. And he gets the hook, but it falls short.
That was a good look by Joyce. She just has to finish that, but that's a good strategy to go at Brock Miller in the post with Joyce.
Miller, there's the catch and shoot, and he got tipped. Van Solen got a hand on it, or a finger at least. So Joyce hands it off to Van Solen. He's going to cut, again, working the shot clock. They have size on the inside right now, but a travel call. So 2:43 to go, and it's 30-20, a 10-point lead for Utah State. It's the freshman, Raleigh Wooster. He's leading the team with 8 points and another big three. So a 10-point game here, and the Utah State, they're looking to stay perfect in conference play. They're 3-0 right now, picking up right where they left off, cutting down nets at the Mountain West Conference Championship Tournament in Las Vegas. Of course, 2020 was a strange year for everyone, and that is the day, well, a couple days later, that sports ended up stopping completely. So you win back-to-back conference tournaments. You're going to the NCAA tournament again. You have Sam Merrill. You're just riding high. You have all the momentum, and all of a sudden, you find out 2 days later that you're not going because there's no NCAA tournament. We were talking to Craig Smith about it, and he said Sam Merrill cried. He just cried and let out all these tears because these guys worked so hard. Yes, it's just sports. Yes, we've gone through a pandemic, Joaquin, but you know the amount of time, effort, and energy that goes into this.
Yeah, and the ultimate goal is the NCAA tournament. That's what you go to college and play basketball for. That is the dream, to play in March Madness, in the big game. And Coach talked about how they were all heartbroken when they found out that they couldn't go. And he said the story about Merrill crying, and I get it, because he also said that the year before when they went and they saw the way that they were treated, and they chartered a jet and they had a police escort, they felt like they had made it, and they were so proud of themselves, and their hard work had paid off. And so to not be able to go the following year after punching the ticket was tough.
That was tough. Nick Jackson picking up his third foul, so he is on the bench, and Kenrade grabs the rebound. Jackson has gotten himself in a lot of foul trouble this year, and for the sophomore from Scottsdale, Arizona, they're going to need him out on the floor. That's something that he's going to have to work on.
Yeah, for Nick Jackson, you know, it's tough because he's 6'8", 200 pounds, and he's fighting against guys that are 200 and, you know, Keita's 245 pounds. And so, you know, it's hard to be aggressive and not get back down in the post without fouling from time to time. And so that's probably going to continue to be a problem throughout the season. As long as he stays aggressive defensively, he's going to pick up fouls.
Mika Kaya is on Keita right now down low. Switch to Kenrade, but he was face guarding him pretty good. Wooster pulls up as the shot clock expires, misses in an offensive rebound and foul. So Mika Kyle will pick up his first.
And being on the offensive glass, this is what he does for a living. A tremendous rebounder, a tremendous offensive rebounder, has a great nose for the ball. You know, sometimes guys just have the gift of being able to know where the ball is going to come off when it leaves that rim, and he has that. And so, you know, Air Force is going to have to do a better job of keeping a body on him as well as Keita, because that killed him in the first game.
Hard to believe that those are Bean's first point of the game, I should say. He makes the first of two. This is a guy that averages 12 points in Mountain West Conference play, at 15 against Air Force the other day, and that's his first bucket with less than 2 minutes to go here in the first half. Of course, he shows up in the stat sheet everywhere, though. He has 4 rebounds. He mentioned that rebound that he pulled down to get him to the line.
That's a miscommunication right there. You got to make some eye contact before you pass the ball.
And poor Bob Staffen was in the way of that. Great referee here in the Mountain West Conference.
You see Air Force right there doing a much better job of running guys off the line for the three, but at the same time, you got to have some interior defense ready to absorb the drive if you run that guy off the line, and so they're going to have to do a better job in that.
So Stephen Ashworth's first points of the game. A delay warning on the court. And now less than a minute to go here in the first half. 13-point lead for the Aggies. Air Force looking to try and carry some momentum into the locker room. They got to get some offense to do that.
I think Coach Scott, he spoke about them running their offense with force. I think they're doing that right now. I think they're doing a really good job of being aggressive offensively.
Kenrad gets the charge call. He was pretty aggressive there.
Yeah, and sometimes you'll take a charge because you know that your players are being aggressive. You don't want passive basketball. And knowing Coach Scott's personality, he'd prefer a charge than for a guy to go in there soft and get his shot blocked.
30 seconds to go here in the first half. And Utah State will look to run the clock before a final bucket. And here they go.
It'll be interesting to see how they look to attack the matchup zone.
Booster took it, and that was short. And the Falcons will have one more opportunity. 6 seconds left. It's in the freshman's hand. He tries to pass out, and a turnover for Air Force. So 20 minutes into things here at Clune Arena, and it's the same story as it was on Thursday night. This time a 13-point lead for Utah State heading into the half, 33-20. So it's the freshmen stepping up big for the Aggies today. Wooster with 8. A.J. Walker has 8 for Air Force, but they got to get their offense going in the second half. Our halftime report coming up next on Stadium. Utah State looking to stay perfect in conference play. They're currently 3-0, and they lead the Air Force Falcons by 13 at the half. Well, our players to watch were the big men inside. Joaquin, what did you see?
To me, it's Keita. He's doing his job. He's on his way to a double-double. He's got 3 blocks, 7.6 rebounds. He's doing his job. Keaton Van Sullen, he has to pick it up a little bit. He played 20 minutes in the first half and was only able to come up with 1 rebound and 1 assist. He definitely has to do a better job in the second half.
Yeah, he leads all players in the Mountain West Conference in minutes played, so that is no surprise. He spent all 20 on the floor, just needs 20 more productive minutes in the second half. Again, a 13-point lead for the Aggies over the Falcons. Second half action coming up from Clune Arena next. Back at Clune Arena, and what became a trend in 2020 has continued into 2021. We're seeing cardboard cutout fans where even your pet can attend a live sporting event. Not too bad. Utah State up 33-20 here at the half. That's a cute dog. I mean, come on.
That is a cute. I like the T-shirt.
He's not barking very loud, though. I can't hear him. You know, it's such a privilege to come into the game today. You know, for us to get a beat here, courtside, calling a basketball game, watching live sports. It is a privilege to be here, and we understand that fans are dying to get back into stadiums and arenas all across the country, and hopefully we will do that very soon in 2021.
You're right, Jenny. It is a privilege to be able to come watch live college sports.
Jenny Kavnar, Joaquin Jones with you as the second half action begins, and there's Justin Bean. He had just 1 point to end out the first half, and now he has 3 with that easy layup.
I'm pretty sure Coach Smith wasn't very nice to his team in the locker room at halftime, and so I would expect them to come out with a ton of energy and look to start this half the way that they started the game.
A.J. Walker, the first player in double figures on the floor. He has 10.
A.J. Walker has to continue to be aggressive for these guys.
Air Force started out the first half not so great on the floor. It ended up showing in their halftime stats just 29% shooting from the floor. They missed their last 4 field goals, so it's nice to make their first and get the jump ball. Glenn McClintock, the freshman, had 2 points in the first half. He gets it into Walker.
Glenn McClintock, they're really high on him, as I said before. Really good shooter, shooting over 40% from 3. Hasn't really had any open looks so far, but he's a really, really good shooter.
Kansas City, Missouri native has started in all 4 conference games for Air Force. Van Solen, he's going to get a travel call.
Van Solen, our player to watch, looking to make something happen, but traveled there.
He averages 8 points a game, almost 4 rebounds and 3 assists. He's quick, he's versatile for a post player that's 6'7", but you're right, pretty quiet today. Wooster long on the 3. Keita tries to go off the glass, gets his rebound and the putback.
Keita's padding stats right
That's
there.
right.
He missed the easy one, got an offensive rebound and made the tougher shot. But that just shows his talent for him to, just his quickness to get back to the ball at 7 feet. He's definitely an NBA player at some point whenever he decides to take that next step. And his talent is unmeasurable.
I have a feeling we wouldn't be talking about him if he was healthy last year. He probably already would have entered the draft and been playing in the NBA this year.
But the thing that I love about him as well is he declared for the draft after his freshman year, and this is a perfect timing. He makes that pass right there. He could have very easily gotten that layup, but he's so unselfish. You would think that a guy who wants to go to the NBA is looking to pad his stats, and he's absolutely not doing that. Right there, you see him pass up a layup to get a layup for Bean. He's so unselfish. He leads this team in assists. That stat alone to me says a lot about this young man.
Keita picking up his first foul.
Yeah, right here, you see him follow. He misses the gimme, stays with it, stays aggressive, goes over the top. Nothing that Nick Jackson can do about that. And then right there, he could have very easily gotten a bucket on his own. He could have been selfish, but he's so unselfish. He's such a team player that he gave his teammate a layup.
Well, I think anyone who loves defense as much as he does is definitely an unselfish player out there on the court. But you mentioned it. To be as big as he is, 7 feet, and you're talking about 245 pounds of force, he moves really well and he sees the court. Coach talked about his instincts. Right away, I think to the naked eye, you see how physical he can be and, what a great basketball player he is. But his instincts, you tell him something once, Coach Craig Smith said, he has it. He has it right down.
Yeah, he has a high basketball IQ. That's what that is. He has a great feel for the game and understanding of the game, and that's why Coach is able to give him that compliment.
Bean tries to return the favor to Keita, but he's going to pass off to Wooster. And Anthony off the glass. 6 points from Marco Anthony. We talked about the Virginia transfer, won a national title there, but he already has more points in an Aggies uniform than he did in his 2 years with Virginia.
Yeah, Jenny, a lot of times it's all about the right fit. And, what's great about it is that although he didn't play a lot of minutes at Virginia, he was able to have great experiences, I'm sure, and he's able to use what he learned at Virginia here and be successful at Utah State.
Keita able to grab the ball, so another Air Force turnover. 41-24, Utah State looking to build their lead. And Anthony will have to do it at the line.
Yeah, it's so interesting to see the different ways that they're looking to attack the zone. Right here, they're looking to get the ball into the paint. Anthony makes a strong move and finishes at the rim with contact. Now they're looking, instead of settling for three-point shots like they did in the first half and looking to attack from the perimeter, now they're looking to get the ball into the post and then looking to capitalize inside the paint, and they're doing a really good job of that in the second half.
A.J. Walker picking up his second foul. And the lefty can't complete his second.
And there's Justin Bean being Justin Bean, forcing that foul, crashing the glass, which is what he does for a living and does a great job at.
So Abe Penrade will get his second.
It'll be interesting to see if they continue to pound the ball inside in the post and look to attack in the post. Right now, it feels like they're really seeing the benefit of their size right now.
So Falcons double team Keita, and Akaya picking up his second foul of the game, but I should say his third foul.
And right there, you saw Keita get double teamed, and he didn't panic. He didn't, and that speaks to him having experience. Maybe back when he was a freshman, that double team would have affected him, but right now, he's logged so many games under his belt that double team does not affect him. And right there, you see him catch at the high post, and he doesn't even look at the rim. He sees that Brock Miller's open and immediately gets him a great look in the corner for the three.
Well, when Brock Miller can camp out in the corner, it typically ends up not being a good thing for the other team. Chris Joyce had an open layup and look, and he has 5 points in the contest.
And I think that's the first time that I've seen today that Utah State got beat on a back cut.
There's a dunk from Keita, just an exclamation point on the other end. He's now in double figures with 11.
Yeah, there's not a lot you can do about that when you can't match his size and physicality.
So Keita, I mentioned double figures with 11. He also has 9 rebounds. Don't forget about the 3 blocks. The big man can do it all. Utah State up 47-26. Welcome back to Clune Arena, 47-26. The Aggies taking over, and so is Keita. It's our stadium play of the game.
And you see right here, you see Marco Anthony catch the ball at the high post and be very unselfish with his pass to Keita for the finish. Keita's completely dominating the paint. Great college basketball player. Looking forward to seeing him at the next level.
He might be able to do that next year. The junior from Portugal on the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar watch list, just one of 20 players in the country. So eyes are definitely on him in the Mountain West Conference. And of course, Utah State, they're looking to three-peat. They want to go to that tournament, win it, go to the NCAAB tournament this year for reals, not have it canceled. Keita missing there, and that's going to stay Utah State's ball.
And out of the timeout, you see Coach Smith look to continue to attack the matchup, Air Force's matchup zone by getting the ball into the paint. Keita just missed a gimme.
Keita and Wooster just playing catch. Ball gets knocked out.
And it's tough. I mean, right now you got Akaya who's 6'5", guarding Keita. That's a tough matchup. I mean, he's a tough matchup with someone his size, and so with undersized players, it's really a tough matchup.
And Anthony misses that pass, so he'll turn the ball over. 21-point lead for Utah State. They have won all 3 Mountain West contests so far by an average of 37.7 points per game. Of course, 2 of those coming at San Jose State, and then against San Jose State, and then one here against the Aggies on Thursday.
37.7 points. Margin of victory is almost unheard of in conference play.
Great hustle play by A.J. Walker. You can see him trying to grab a quick steal and can't keep the ball in bounds. So Utah State will bring it up and set it up.
Now you see Air Force starting to extend their zone a little bit. They're picking up at half court as opposed to just dropping back. Now it's the time that they have to kind of speed the game up because they're down by 21 points, and so they have to try to speed Utah State up and make them and not let them use clock because they have such a big deficit right now.
That's going to be 4 fouls for Akaya. That's too bad because he's playing aggressive on Keita. You mentioned obviously the height differential, but they're trying to double team him a little bit down there. He's trying to get physical as much as he can. But 4 fouls is going to be hard to do that. And we see Coach Scott going to his bench. Nick Jackson's going to check in. Of course, he had 3 fouls in the first half.
Yeah, and Coach Smith, you can see that he's told his team that he wants Cater to get touches right now to attack that matchup zone. And right there you see Brock Miller knock another one down.
That's what Brock Miller does. It's 4 for 9 now from 3-point range. Tried to match the 3 on the other end. No good. Brock Miller was 4 of 9 on Thursday night, and Keita with the nice little finish.
And there's Justin Bean right there returning the favor to Keita earlier in the first half. In the second half, Keita gave him a layup and passed up an open look. He just returned the favor right there. And those are the type of things that you want to see in a team, guys being unselfish and not caring about it. And Utah State's doing a great job tonight.
Aggies up big over the Falcons. 13:34 to go here in the contest. Well, they're taking a look right now at Brock Miller and his last shot. It looked like it was a 3. They called it a 2. What do you think, Joaquin? Broke it right up on the line.
I think it could have been a 3.
I called it a 3. I said he has 4 3, so I'm going to go with it's a 3, right? You got to be right.
You needed to zoom. I think it could have been a 3. It was very close. What did they decide?
I don't know. Oh, they called it a 2. Okay. So the decision is in, just a 2. So he now just has 3 threes on the game and 11 points. Brock Miller is human. He can, score other ways.
He's still playing a really good basketball game tonight.
He really is. The turnaround doesn't go for Nick Jackson. And here comes Utah State again. Justin Bean, that'll get tipped. Jackson got a hand on it.
Yeah, Justin Bean with a really low release on his 3-point shot. That's the reason why that one got blocked.
And there's another block.
2 really good defensive possessions for Air Force.
Nice dish to Chris Joyce.
And that is the second backdoor play that Air Force has gotten in this half. And like I said before, you see that Air Force is looking to extend their defense. They're picking up at half court as opposed to just dropping back. They have to speed this game up because of the point differential.
Wooster feeds Keita. And he dishes to Bean. Now Bean's heating up with 9.
That is unbelievable for a 7-footer to be able to make that pocket pass out of the post. That's a very, very impressive play for a 7-footer to be able to make that.
So Air Force getting in on the action with the blocks. And then on the other end, capitalizing with the score. 53-28, Utah State still leading. Jackson's going to get fouled, and he'll have a chance at the line.
And those are 3 really good plays by Jackson. He gets the block. He makes the great pass on the back cut. And right there on the out-of-bounds play, he does a great job of selling the fake and getting the ball into the paint and getting fouled. Now he just needs to capitalize at the free throw line.
Scottsdale, Arizona product in Jackson, comes from a long line of collegiate athletes. His father and brother played college hoops, and his sister, another brother, ran collegiate track.
And he knocked both those free throws down. He's only shooting 27% from the free throw line for the year, and so it's good to see him knock those 2 down.
6 points for him, cutting their deficit. They now trail by 23. Still a long way to go for Air Force. And they're going to try to get the turnover. They get it. A.J. Walker, he finishes on the other end, and A.J. with 12.
And Air Force is continuing to fight and continuing to scrap. Right now you see him in a 1-2-2 full court press.
And there you go. Drawing the foul, the charge call. So Wooster picks up his second. And that's how you get aggressive if you want to get back in things. A.J. Walker with the steal and the finish on the other end. 52-32. Dusk in Colorado Springs looks beautiful down at the Air Force Academy. 33-32. It's the Aggies leading the Falcons. And Namiya Shikeda doing his thing. Another double-double, his third of the season. That's now his 17th in his career and among active players. He's only second to his teammate Justin Bean, who averaged a double-double last year in the Mountain West Conference.
Yeah, for the rest of the coaches in the Mountain West, it's a hard, unpleasant feeling to know that you got to go against these guys, a front court that's that effective, that good. It's hard to go into a game knowing that you're going to play against that type of talent.
And A.J. Walker with a quick bucket. So Air Force on an 8-2 run now.
A.J. Walker's showing some aggressiveness. He's showing some experience. You see him making hustle plays, really extending himself and playing hard. And you gotta be, Coach Scott has to be happy with the performance that he's given today.
So Air Force in an aggressive zone against Utah State, and the shot clock's down to 4. Ashworth's going to take it and miss in and out, but coming up with the rebound is Alfonso Anderson, and it's going to go a jump ball after the putback.
Yeah, it's tough to play, 28 seconds of defense and then give up 2 offensive rebounds. And so, they're going to have to do a better job of putting the body. When that shot goes up, you got to find somebody to box out. It's not a man defense where you're already matched up. You got to go find somebody to put a body.
13 offensive rebounds today for Utah State. That has been their bread and butter, crashing the glass.
Yeah, like I said before, when you got Kata and you got Bean in the lineup, 2 guys that are really good at crashing the offensive glass, you're gonna see a lot of nights where they're gonna have double-digit offensive rebounds.
Marco Anthony picking up his 3rd foul with the charge. Just driving baseline there, and great positioning by Nick Jackson.
Nick Jackson's doing a really good job tonight. I mean, he's doing the intangible plays that they need.
It's tough to take, too, when you have 3 fouls for Jackson.
Yeah, he's going to continue, from what I've seen of Nick Jackson, he's going to continue to compete and fight.
And there's going to be a foul underneath. They're going to call that on Ashworth, his 2nd with the block. So 5 team fouls for each, 10:35 to go in the game. 53-34. Utah State is led, but Air Force not giving up. Van Solen up and around. Those are his first points of the game. Hard to believe.
That's a nice finish by Van Solen in traffic. He's our player to watch. He's going to have to continue to make plays the last 2 minutes of this game.
Miller feeds Anderson, cross court, Ashworth. And it's good for 3.
Such an unselfish basketball team in Utah State. You see the versatility of their bigs. Their bigs pass the ball as well as their guards.
They're averaging 16 assists in the Mountain West play, which is first in the Mountain West Conference.
And the reason why they are averaging so many assists is because their bigs have a really good feel and can pass the ball. And they do a great job of locating open shooters, kickouts.
11 assists so far as a team in this game for Utah State. They're just going to take their time setting up the offense. Ashworth looked at Kata, but he gets it to Brock Miller. He's going to drive, pull up for the jumper, and good.
And the Aggies, they have the benefit because of the large lead that they have right now that they can take their time and they can use clock. They're not gonna rush anything. They're gonna use clock.
Van Solen out of lane, and he took it.
That's a great play by Van Solen. I didn't know that he was that athletic. It's a big time play right there.
Word on him is he's quick and can cause havoc, and I guess he has some hops too.
He really showed it right there. That was aggressive and very impressive play.
Miller, by the way, 13 points. That ties Kata for the lead for the Aggies.
And our player to watch,
And that's going to be 2
is
fouls on
Van
Kata.
Solen right there with a big time play. Got to the rim quick and finished with authority. 2-hand dunk. Big time play.
20-point deficit for the Falcons. 8:53 to go. Mason Taylor in the game, the sophomore from Grandview, Missouri. And it looks like Ashworth's going to pick up another foul. That's 3 for him.
Yeah, so the decision that Air Force is going to have to make right now is they're accustomed to running their offense and using clock, but they're running out of time. And so they're going to have to speed up their offense just a little bit to try to cut into this lead to give themselves a chance if they want to win this basketball game. They can't continue to burn a lot of clock each possession down on offense.
So Mason Taylor at the line for the 1-1. Played 23 games as a freshman, leading all Air Force freshmen with 11 threes. Trying to work some more minutes here, up to 10 in Mountain West action. They're going to need their bench. They really have kind of a short rotation for Air Force. And again, that's, coming in, trying to figure out all your players and, of course, what you want to do for Joe Scott in his first year, his second stint here at the Air Force.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's about the players earning Coach Scott's trust to be out there. You as a coach, you don't just want to play guys because you got them you got guys to play. You want to play the guys that you feel like you can help you win the game. And so they don't have a very long rotation, but I'm sure it's the guys that Coach Scott feels like he can win with.
Nick Jackson got his 4th foul, and that'll send Kinraid off the bench. Jackson getting a fist bump from Joe Scott, playing hard out there.
Yeah, Jackson definitely did. He competes. I like what he brings to this program. He really, really competes. He's tough.
Kinraid will get it back to Walker. Walker will use the pick and pull up. That's good. The whistle threw me off. I thought they were going to call it 2. So it looks like an injury for Kinraid. He's hobbling on the floor. His teammates coming around him. We'll take a break and figure out what's going on with Kinraid on the other side. Back at Clune Arena, take a look at number 15 for the Falcons, Abe Kinraid. His left knee just buckles right here on the play, and you don't want to watch that more than once because you hope he's okay. We're looking at trainers, looking at him over on the Falcons bench. You never like to see an injury like that.
I never like to see those. Those are hard to watch for me. You just don't want to see guys get hurt, and it's tough. And they're taking him back to the locker room now, so it must be pretty serious. And we just hope that he's going to be all right.
Yeah, you really do. The junior from Iowa has earned some minutes today, and now he's going to have to hobble off. So back in action, Utah State, Brock Miller, long 3. Airballs it right into the hands of Van Solen.
I'm still trying to figure out how he keeps getting open looks.
He's a magician out there. That's what he does.
He just keeps getting wide open looks, and his teammates are doing a great job finding him. I wouldn't leave him.
Joyce drives, got stuck, makes the moves, grabs his own rebound and the putback. So 9 for Joyce. And all of a sudden it's interesting because now Air Force deficit is at 14.
At 14, and that's a senior move right there. He took his time in the paint and didn't rush. Made the right basketball play. And like you said, Jenny, it's only a 14-point lead right now. Anything can happen.
Bean finds the cutting Wooster, up and in.
That kid, Wooster does not play like a freshman. Everything about him just says experience. Coach Smith is lucky to have a point guard that's that poised as a freshman.
10 points for Raleigh Wooster. And Mika Akaya for 3. His second of the game.
If Air Force can get a couple stops, this could get interesting, but they're going to have to stop Utah State from scoring.
And that's a tough task to do, especially with that guy. Kata feeding Bean, and that's easy.
And like I said before, if you're a Mountain West coach, you don't want to see these two guys. They play so well together Right there, it's just like, they can read each other's minds. And they're both such good passers and rebounders.
And Keita with the block. That's number 4 for him. And with that, he has now tied Nathan Wickheiser. So that's an interesting story development, is Matthew Wickheiser, a member of Utah State. His dad's record in jeopardy now.
You saw that coming.
You can see he's sweating it out, right?
You saw that coming when he had 3 at halftime. You knew he was probably going to get the 4th.
Keita had just one block on Thursday against these Falcons, so he felt like he had to pick things back up, right? 26 now on the season for Keita. And it's going to be a travel.
Yeah, Keita doing what Keita does, protecting the rim for Utah State. You see him climbing up that list. It's going to be a matter of time before he's all-time leading shot blocker in school history.
148 blocks. And think about this, White King. He played a freshman season. He didn't play 9 games of a sophomore season on a nice reverse from Justin Bean. He's now in double figures with 11. So imagine if he had a full season last year where he'd already be on that list.
Imagine if he stays for 4 years.
Right. Which is looking pretty doubtful at this point. Health pending, of course.
Yeah, you just don't know what guys. Some guys love being in college and like to stay. Right here, you see him being unselfish. It's like Stockton Malone with Keita Bean. They're just playing off each other. Keita with 5 assists tonight. He leads their team coming into this game in assists. And I can't remember the last time I saw a center, a 7-footer, lead a team in assists.
Chris Joyce, the 1-1. He'll make the first as Brock Miller picked up his 3rd foul. Double figures for Joyce. He's at 10. That's what he's averaging in Mountain West play. He had 18 against Nevada in their lone win this year and just 6 on Thursday night.
Yeah, they're gonna have to get a lot of production out of him and A.J. Walker to have some success in conference play.
Passing on the perimeter for Utah State. They've got a cutting Justin Bean, and there's going to be a foul call. That's going to go on Amika Akaya, and that will be his 5th foul. So he is fouled out of the game, and Joe Scott will take his time to get a substitute in.
Yeah, and you're gonna see that continue to happen because they're so undersized. Teams are gonna look to pound the ball into the. They're gonna watch this film, and they're just gonna continue to look to pound the ball into the post and make their smaller defenders guard. And so you're going to probably see that continue to happen throughout the season until Coach Scott can get some more size into his program.
Well, don't forget to join us for our next Mountain West Conference game on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. This Air Force squad will visit Boise State. Catch the game right here on Stadium, the only free 24/7 network available on both television and digital devices without a cable subscription. Stadium, welcome to the game. So free throws for Utah State and now Air Force. We're going to 16-point deficit, 65-49. Van Solen gets stripped. You get a few seconds, a few breathers on the bench, and he's right back in the game.
Looks like Utah State's looking to use more clock now. Right here you see the double team, and you see Keita is not bothered by the double team at all. And that's just experience.
And that was a miss for Miller, but that's what he welcomed. I mean, Jackson came flying at him, and he's like calm, composed, takes his dribble and tries to put up the shot. Miller just 3 of 9 from three-point range today. A.J. Walker off the rim.
And that's the dilemma that
65-49, under 4 to go in this contest from Queen Arena. 3:56 to go here in Colorado Springs. 65-49. Utah State has been dominant, and that's even as they're missing Sam Merrill, of course, graduating last year, the former Utah State star. He was a Mountain West champ and tournament MVP in 2019 and 2020, the 60th pick of the NBA draft, went to New Orleans, got traded to the Bucks, and how about this? Just a couple games into his NBA career, and he's already made history, Viking. He made the 28th three-pointer for the Milwaukee Bucks on Tuesday night. You think the Hall of Fame asked for, like, his tennis shoes, or, you know?
I'm not so sure that they did all that, but you know, he's in a good situation in Milwaukee. They have a great program, a great association being in the NBA, and he's doing well down there. And, you know, the thing that Coach Smith said about him yesterday that's most impressive to me is that he's the second all-time leading scorer, but at the same time, he's the second all-time leading assist. And so, you know, just talking about a player who's extremely talented but was also extremely unselfish.
Craig Smith, the last couple years, I know he's told me this, but he reminded us again yesterday on a Zoom call, like, I had to tell Sam to shoot the ball sometimes. Yeah. So interesting for a guy that's, you know, up there on the leading scorer list at Utah State that he had to remind him to shoot. I heard Sam Merrill was at a practice watching this current team play, and he said, gosh, I wish I could play with these guys. They look like so much fun. They're passing the ball. Everyone's getting involved in the offense.
Yeah, you can see that sharing the ball and not really caring about your own, personal stats is just a part of their culture, and that's why they're so successful.
Queta with another bucket, so he's had a lot of success in this game. 15 points. We already mentioned his third double-double of the season. Van Solen thought about a three. He's going to hand it off, and Air Force will continue looking. A.J. Walker is going to take Queta all the way to the bucket for the reverse. Now that's gutsy to go against Queta like that.
It is, and he had some craftiness to go along with that to be able to finish that bucket. And he has that in his game. He's a very good scorer when he's being aggressive.
He had 27 points this season at Nevada. 19 tonight. Brock Miller cross court, and the freshman Wooster will throw up a three. 13 for Wooster with 3 threes. He talked about how poised and confident he is on the basketball court. He was also quarterback in high school, highly recruited quarterback from Missoula, Montana. Coach said he can throw the ball in the air 65 yards. So this is a guy that you don't want to mess with, but he loves his winning attitude, and I think when you have a freshman on the floor like that, you can see it.
And talking to Coach Smith yesterday, it sounded like he was more impressed with him being able to throw a ball 65 yards than anything else that he does on the basketball court. He was really pumped about letting us know that he could throw the ball 65 yards.
And really lucky that the Aggies ended up getting him. He was an early commit to Montana. He was a 2-time Montana Gatorade Player of the Year, and however the chips fell, he ended up decommitting, and here he is in an Aggies uniform.
Having a lot of success so far in his early career.
Miller tried to feed Queta, but it ended up looking more like a shot going off the rim.
Both teams still competing, still playing hard.
They really are. Glenn McClintock misses in the air. Looks like it got tipped a bit. So the Aggies are going to dribble it out. Looks like they're going to be 4-0 to start conference play. No surprise for the reigning Mountain West tournament champs. Anthony up and in.
And another assist for Queta. You know, you just see this young man's versatility. It's unbelievable.
Travel call on the floor, so we're seeing some bench emptying for the Aggies. You know, something about Marco Anthony that I loved is the transfer, of course, wearing number 44. He said he picked it because he has an affinity for Wendy's 4-for-4 meals. How about that? You have so much love for your fast food that you wear it on your back.
That's a strange reason to pick a jersey number, but...
It's like I want my name on my back and I want to have Wendy's represented, right?
He needs to start a franchise when he finishes his basketball career. He likes Wendy's that much.
CJ Hott with the turnaround. Just a couple minutes for him so far this season. Brock Miller's still in the game. Feeds it inside, and that's going to be a turnover. Here comes Mason Taylor on the other end. And he can't finish. So 15 seconds to go, and it looks like the Aggies will dribble this one out. (72-53). That will be the final here from the Clune Arena. And of course, that leads us to our stadium player of the game. I think you got to give it to that man, Neemiah Shkeda. What a game he had. Another double-double for him, but it's not just the fact that he can score points or rebound. The guy can block, too. He had 4 of them, and he dished the ball out.
He can block and dish the ball out. He's such a well-rounded player. You can't be nothing but impressed with the way that he plays the game.
Well, of course, here at the United States Air Force Academy, they play the alma mater after the game, and both teams lining up on the court. And we will do the same and listen in. Well, there's the Air Force alma mater here at Clune Arena. So, Joaquin, what we've seen of Utah State so far, 4-0 in conference. They've played San Jose State twice, now Air Force twice. Up next, they're going to be at New Mexico, which, of course, is playing in Lubbock, Texas. It'll be interesting to see who can challenge them this year in conference play.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you think of San Diego State having an excellent program. They're always very good year in, year out, but Utah State has all the pieces that you need to be successful. They have shooters, they have rebounders, they have defense, they have shot blockers, they have leadership from Worcester at the point guard, and so you know it will be interesting to see who can compete against these guys because they're very well coached and they have all the balance that you need.
And Air Force will be at Boise State next for a 2-game set starting on January 6th. Well, that'll do it for us from Clune Arena. Utah State, they continue to roll 7-3 on the season, 4-0 in Mountain West play, and their 7th consecutive Mountain West victory dating back to last year. My broadcast partner, Joaquin Jones, I'm Jenny Kavner saying good evening, where the Utah State Aggies beat Air Force 72-53.